I'll do a quick intro of how we started doing these monthly meetups, and then from there, I'll let you take it away. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Friedman. I've been in New York City real estate now since 2018, and obviously been through the roller coaster ride of this business, the industry, the deals, and all of the different scenarios that we face as agents, diving into the Manhattan market. And we started doing monthly meetups earlier this year to collaborate with other agents, learn how other agents are growing their business. I find I learn more from my colleagues and my peers more so than an office manager or a broker. I'm assuming you all feel the same way, which is why you joined our mastermind today. So when we first started doing these meetups, we just were taking feedback and advice with what agents wanted to learn more about. And a lot of that feedback was all around marketing. How can we market ourselves? How can we run effective ads or campaigns? And that's how we connected with Ernest to do this presentation for us, because he is a hands down expert in the Facebook ad world. I had been with Brown Harris Stevens previously, and now with EXP Realty. I'm doing a majority of my business in Manhattan and also in Brooklyn. So nice to be connecting and meeting with you all. And Ernest, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for that great introduction. Hey, everyone. My name's Ernest Enriquez. I am a real estate agent here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm dual licensed both here in the state of Texas and in the state of Washington. And one thing that I really learned early on throughout my real estate career was that I was really attracted to the digital landscape. Through that kind of attraction, I really learned how to grow my business effectively through, of course, as you all know, which you're here today for, the Facebook ad world, right? We all hear, hey, you need to be running Facebook ads. You got a new listing. You need to be boosting it. You need to be doing this, this, and this. And most of us were a little bit confused or overwhelmed, or at the time, you just don't know enough about it to want to go and throw money at it, right? And there's a lot of good products out there. If you're a KV Core user, or if you're a Chime user, or if you have a CRM of choice, most likely they have a marketplace with some products in there. But those products that you can get access to through those avenues are going to be more of like a templatized ad strategy, right? Where all the agents are running the same verbiage, they're all running the same similar ad with the same photos, and consumers and viewers are just becoming kind of, I guess, acclimated to that verbiage and to those ads and just not really engaged with them. So today we're going to dive into the world of real estate Facebook ads and how I, over my course of the last several years, and in a single year, generated over 12,000 leads in the state of Washington through these Facebook ad strategies. So we're going to kind of get those creative juices flowing for you today. Today, we're just going to talk a little bit about Facebook Pixel. Some of you all have heard about this verbiage. Maybe you've already got it set up and you know what it is. But for those of you who don't know what this is, it's going to be new. I always like to start and describe the Facebook Pixel, mainly because it's an important ingredient to your success when it comes to running Facebook ads. We're also going to talk about ad types. So understanding the types of ads that you can run on Facebook, meaning like, do you want to drive engagement? Do you want to run traffic ads? Do you want to run lead ads? What is your end goal and what are you trying to accomplish? That's going to be the first thing that you need to really identify before you choose an ad type. And then we're going to talk a little bit about ad creation, because this is an important step in the method of creating a successful ad. Is your ad creation, understanding ad copy, photos, videos, whatever it might be that you're going to do. We need to understand the ad creation point. And this is going to be kind of a scaled down version because this can take a super long time, but we got 30 minutes here today and I'm super excited. But just a little bit about my background. Like I said, in 2017, I embarked on my journey in real estate. As far as when I transitioned over to KV Core and really dove into the digital landscape. Like some of you, I started off on a team back in 2015, 16. But when I went out on my own, it was really kind of like a flap your wings and hope you can fly type journey for me. So I was, again, really attracted to the digital landscape of Facebook and social ads, became really good with it, generated over 12,000 leads in a single year. And my secret sauce, as I like to call it, was always my dynamic ads. These are generally run with like your KV Core. That's how I've been successful in running them, because KV Core gives you the tools that you need in order to be successful with running those ads. but that's not to say you can't go and get them from like your Chime or whatever CRM that you're going to use. And I'll explain why you need a CRM in order to run a dynamic ad. But for those of you who don't have a CRM and still run successful ads, we're going to kind of give some strategies there as well. So first and foremost, I always like to talk about Facebook Pixel. Understanding your Facebook Pixel is going to better help you create more successful advertisements. I can't tell you how often I see agents or have agents come to me and ask me, hey, Ernest, why are my ads failing? And the first thing that happens when I pop into their ads account is they have no Facebook Pixel. A Facebook Pixel can be used for the following: tracking user behavior, understanding your audience, and the most important one here, which is the remarketing and targeting of custom audiences. The last one there, optimizing your ad campaigns. The way that it does this is it sets a little piece of, and I'm going to put my nerdy hat on because I do have a software engineering background here. It sets a little piece of JavaScript on that user's browser that enables you to leverage that for the next 30, 60, and even 90 days to have your ad become sticky or become fixed in their newsfeed. So when they engage with your ad, they continue to see your ad, and Facebook's algorithm is going to start to place your ad in their newsfeed so that they're more likely to engage with you. So you could track their behavior. Again, you can see what links they've clicked on your website. You can see the URLs, the listings that they've landed on. And that's important because let's say you have a listing that you want to create a custom audience for, right? Let's say you had 50 people go to your new listing because you threw it on Facebook or you shared it on your social page and people clicked on it. You could actually go into your pixel, and I'll show you this, but you can go into your pixel and you can create a custom audience of people who've visited that link. So I can go and now target all those 50 people with my new listing.
How are you seeing that?
So, and we'll show you that here in a moment, Bianca. We'll get to that here in a moment. We're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough and show you some ad creation and do that. I just like to start with the explanation first and foremost. It'll also do the remarketing and targeting of your custom audience. So again, you can have the ability with this pixel to make that ad sticky. It starts staying in that news feed. You start having leverage with it. Your ads start performing better. Your cost per lead starts going down, and you then start optimizing your ad campaigns. The second part to a successful ad is going to be ad types, right? Understanding your ad types. Remember in the beginning, I was talking about understanding what your end goal is with your ad strategy. Your ad types are going to be imperative to understand because they need to be relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. Maybe you're just trying to drive people to your website, right? And if that's your goal, you'll use what Facebook calls as a traffic ad. This means that when you create your advertisement, and again, I'm going to show you all this here in a moment, but when you create your advertisement, it enables you to go ahead and put a call to action on there and drive them to the URL of your choice. So instead of capturing something through Facebook, this is just basically going to leverage your website's lead capture tools in order to capture those lead details. You also have engagement type ads, and this is probably the most popular one I see a lot of agents run. Aside from lead ads. And I say engagement ads because a lot of agents, if you've seen somebody who's had a ton of comments, likes, shares, if they don't have a huge following on their Facebook page, it's most likely because A, they haven't really run engagement ads, or B, if they don't have a big following on their page, but yet they have a lot of comments and engagements, it's because they're running an engagement ad. This ad type will allow you to encourage people to communicate or engage and comment, like, and share any of your posts. So let's say you get a fresh listing, you post it to your Facebook, you go ahead and you create an ad with that existing post, and you select the engagement type. Your goal there should be to have people comment, like, or even share that actual ad. And then the last one here is leads. This has been my most effective strategy. One of the most commonly used lead methods. I like this method because when you select the leads, basically what you do is you're creating a form that's pre-filled with two-step authenticated information. So this means that once they verify their details to Facebook, those are the details that are pre-filled in this form automatically when they click on your ad. You then have a call to action that'll redirect them, and that call to action submits the form to you as the agent. So I I say this is the most commonly used method because agents are after those contact details, right? We're all after that phone number, that email, so that we can allow our backend process or our CRMs to start following and nurturing those leads. Now, when you do a leads ad, it will either A, require you to manually download that CSV file every day and go and import it into your CRM, or you can leverage a tool like Zapier or API Nation to make an actual connection so that anytime that form is submitted, it is added to your CRM, right? So let's kind of dive into the ad creation because I know we have 30 minutes here. Let me unshare here and share my other screen that I have up. While I do this, any questions on any of that, or is that all clear? Pretty clear to you all?
I think the one thing that stood out to me was the Facebook pixel, because I obviously have heard of what a pixel is, but when I've tried to run Facebook ads before, I don't remember that as something I knew I had to do before getting the Facebook approved and running. So that's a mistake that I know I've been making, I guess is my point. So I'm excited to see your demo.
Yeah, so let me show you the pixel because like I said, it's important to understand the pixel, and this is going to kind of dive into some personal details here with my pixel. But basically, your pixel, again, is going to have the ability to create custom audiences, right? You could see all the websites. I could see the domains. I could see the total number of events in the last 7 days or 28 days. We could actually track all of those events. You also have the ability to, with these pixels, let me scroll down here. You can see the page views. So 988 total events in the last 28 days. And when you click on these, it'll actually break it down even further for you. So you can go down kind of this rabbit hole of tracking your data, tracking where your leads are coming from or your traffic's coming from, and you can see the details of that. Now, the reason why I point this out is because you'll notice that when I'm in my Facebook pixel, I have the ability to create, right? So in here, if I click on it, I can create a custom conversion. I can create an ad. I can create a custom audience. I can create a lookalike audience. And going back to that example that I was explaining to you all a moment ago, where I was like, hey, you had somebody land on, let's say, 1234 Main Street on your website. You had 50 people land on it, and you want to create a custom audience. You can actually use the audience to do that. So you'll go ahead and go through these steps. And then right here where it says create a website custom audience, this is going to allow me to input, a URL once it loads here. But I could actually select the URL of, let's just say, a popular listing that I've shared that has had, a number of events on it. So if you go to the website, for example, and you click on a listing, I could actually say anybody who's landed on this domain, let's create an audience for. So really cool when it comes to retargeting and having your ads be able to retarget those audiences. And I'm not sure why that is not loading.
Ernest, quickly, there's 2 questions in the chat. One of them, I think, is when you log into Facebook, how do you get to the screen that you were just in? This is Meta, right? This is in the Ads Manager in Meta. That was
right. So this is going to be in business.facebook.com. So once you log into there, it's not going to take you to this screen. Most likely you'll land on something like this, where you land on your home screen, but you can use your menu button here to go into what's called your events manager. This is where you will find that Facebook pixel data. If you don't have this set up, like I said, it's going to do more bad than good because your cost per lead or your CPL is going to go through the roof, right? You're going to start driving that CPL out through the roof simply because you're not retargeting any of those people. So just do be aware of that. When you first log into here, if you need to create one, it'll say create and it'll take you through the steps. And I believe I have a YouTube video on one of my YouTube channels walking how to do that. So I'll get with you, Catherine, to see if I can't share that so you could pass it over to everyone in attendance, showing them how to actually set that up.
Okay, great.
But I don't want to go too far into the pixel here. I want to show you what you all came here for, which is the ads, right? We're all thinking about ads. And again, we're thinking about how we create ads just to kind of show you some ads that I'm actually running very successfully. I just restarted one of my newer ads here. The thing with ads is that you got to be consistent with it, right? You have to continue to throw or have a lead ad running. If you don't, when you start and shut off your ads all the time, or let's say you run an ad for 7 days and you turn it off and then you don't run anything for the next 2 weeks, you lose a lot of traffic. So the idea behind this is that in order to be successful, you always need to at least be running one ad. And I say that because you need to be driving traffic to your website in order for your CPL to go down. The more traffic you have going to your website and the more ads you're running, or the longer you're running ads, the more likely they are to become retargeted, or likely they are to continue to see your ads. So for example, you can see I have a San Antonio catalog buyers ad here that so far in the last month has generated 64 leads at an average cost of about $2. And I also have a links click ad running, which is that traffic ad that's generating not leads, but generating clicks at about 12 cents. Again, you got to think about that end goal. Are you wanting contact details, or are you just wanting people to go to your website? I always run 2 ads at one time, and I do this strategically because people who've never been to my website, I need them to click on an ad, go to my website so that my pixel's installed, and then they start actually seeing my San Antonio catalog buyers ad. So now that they clicked on that ad, they're seeing this ad, they're seeing this ad, and they're starting to kind of see everything that I'm running and being targeted with everything that I'm running because they've engaged, right? Keyword there is engaged. So let's walk through this. In order to create an ad, again, like I was telling you, you have these ad types or campaign objectives. Again, you could see traffic, you could see engagement, you could see leads. Don't use awareness, don't use sales, don't use app promotions. None of you have an application unless you have a mobile app that you created and you want people to download it. The 3 ones that you'll mainly use are traffic, engagement, and leads. Now, for the dynamic ad, I want to show you is leads, right? And that is because, again, you can see here, it says collect leads for your business or your brand. It's good for when you want instant forms, when you want Messenger and Instagram conversion, or phone calls. So I'm just going to click continue. Now, don't ever use Tailor Leads campaign. This is going to basically look at your Facebook page and then create an ad based off your Facebook page with built presets for you. I always use the manual leads campaign because I got more control and it allows me to actually set up the ads. The next kind of steps that you're going to take in the campaign creation is that if you want to give this a name for naming purposes or for kind of like organizational purposes, you can. And then the next important kind of category or section here that you're going to have to do, if not, your ads will be disapproved. You are a real estate agent running real estate ads, is you have to select in categories that word housing, right? You are running housing ads. They are going to look at your ads, what it says, but 9 times out of 10, as long as you're staying RESPA and CFPB compliant, you should be golden there. You're not crossing any boundaries. Your ads are going to get approved. And then advantage campaign budget, I always turn this on because it allows you to select your daily budget. So maybe you don't have a huge budget. The results I was just showing you are generated off $5 a day. So I'm running about $150 in Facebook ads on one ad. I normally run about 2 to 3 ads at a single time, plus Google ads and all these other fun things. But you could get away with as little as $5 a day. As you saw, I'm about $2.05 in the last 30 days. So I'm roughly going to get about 2.25 leads out of, that $5 daily budget. So two leads a day. All of you will appreciate that. I mean, anybody who wants 2 leads a day, raise your hand. You'll be able to hit that target market there. The next thing that we'll do is we'll go ahead and click next. And then in here, you're going to see an ad set name. The ad set name is just basically your audience. Think of like who you're targeting. So if this was going to have people who have interest in Zillow or Realtor.com, or who have interest in ABC Realty, or whatever the case might be, you can give a unique name so that you have that audience ad set name set. And then your conversion choice is instant forms. Again, like I was saying, what's going to happen when somebody sees your ad, when they click on it, that form's prompted and it's pre-filled. All they have to do is click on your call to action, which is usually like see more property details, and then they can get redirected. And we're going to show you how to set that up right now. Select your pages, and then down here at the bottom, for a dynamic ad, we're going to need to load a catalog. Now, you're probably wondering, like, where the heck do I get this catalog from? This is why I've been a huge, huge pusher and believer in KV Core. KV Core gives you what is called an XML feed. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because there's a lot of explanation in the details there, but they give you a XML feed that can pull that catalog in. So with that being said, all you need is your Zapier key, and then you can plug it into the catalog alongside one of these links. And what it gives you is listings, right? It'll pull all of your office listings into a catalog and then enable you to either create sets. So for example, I have all home listings. I can create a set here. And that set could be something like price, right? So homes under, let's say, $450,000. And you can see I got about 655 items, right? And I can go ahead and create that. And then we could, and I know I'm going a little fast here, but we only have 30 minutes. Again, I have a lot of this set up on my YouTube channel, Catherine, so I'll be sure to share that with you.
Yeah, over for if people can stay on if we run a little over, that's fine. I think this is really
yeah, absolutely. So now that I've done that, I can go into my catalogs, right? So we could see, I believe it's going to be this one here. I can go into my catalogs and then I can select one of those product sets that I have created. You can then define your audience. Now, most people are leaving this blank nowadays, aside from putting in their area, right? So I would say, since I'm in San Antonio, I'm going to target the San Antonio demographic, the DMA, that gives me a broader spectrum that I can target. And then we'll scroll down. You have some age, gender. Of course, you can't change these for housing purposes. But then you have detailed targeting. And this is where it gets really cool, because you have the ability to say, target people who have an interest in Zillow, target people who have an interest in Trulia, target people who have an interest in maybe a first-time home buyer grant. Maybe this is a first-time home buyer ad. You have the ability to do that, right? So you can go ahead and select those interests from this option here. Now, if you're doing this for recruiting purposes, you could even put in like Keller Williams or EXP, and if it has data or enough data on those profiles, you could actually target those. So a pretty cool option there. So we're gonna go ahead and click next. I use Zillow and Trulia as my top two. You can see I have used several other ones in here as well, but Zillow and Trulia tend to produce the best. And then when I go ahead and click on next, it's going to take me to my ad creation. So this is where all the fun begins. This is where the magic happens, because you now have the ability to start creating your ad. And since we're using a catalog, you will be able to see that catalog in here, right? So you'll be able to see the catalog in here once it, of course, loads. So now you don't actually have to do anything with the catalogs. You can leave it as a single image. And the only other thing you'll need to do is add your primary text. Your primary text will actually appear, and this one doesn't look like, let me actually open up my actual ad that's already running so you can actually see that. I don't know why that catalog data is down. So when you open up the catalog, or when you have the catalog selected, this is what it will look like. And it looks like it might be broken right now. But you'll have your photos here. I'll go ahead and fix that and send a screen share. You'll have your photos here, and you'll be able to have all of your call to actions. I don't know why it's doing this. FYI, sorry. Here we go. So you'll have your photos for all your properties, right? So you can see all your properties there. If I go ahead and expand this, let me know if you could see that if I expand it.
Yeah.
Can you see? Okay.
Okay.
So there's the mobile feed. There's the desktop feed. The nice thing about a dynamic ad like this is that you'll notice that it has up to 50 listings in this feed, right? So they could swipe right, they could swipe left until they see a property that they like. They'll then click on learn more, and that's where this form that I've created down here at the bottom is actually prompted. So they're going to see this form right here. right? Where it says see property now, see homes for sale currently in San Antonio. Website is fed by local MLS. It'll ask the questions that I want it to. So first name, last name, email, and phone number. Again, all these details are pre-filled with their two-step authenticated information. So this is details that they've already verified to their Facebook or to Facebook in order to create their accounts. And then the last step here is the message for the leads. You can see that call to action there where it says view homes now. And then you can put in a redirect link here. So once they submit that form, they then get redirected to your website. And that is all. That's all you have to do with the dynamic ad. Again, these perform way better than just like your fixed photo where you just have one photo of a property and you say click here for more. I say that because what Facebook's algorithm does is it places the best performing property in the front of this ad, right? So if 827 Peabody is not the best performing, it'll be replaced with the one that's getting the most clicks and driving the most traffic. So any questions on that at all? I know I blazed through it again. I have a lot of tutorials on how to set these up. To do a dynamic ad, you can leverage the KV Core feed. Again, here's the feed link that you'll put into the catalog. I have all that on my YouTube channel as well, Catherine. So it'll walk them through how to set those up if they are KV Core users.
Yeah, if people, I never had heard, just being honest, what KV Core was until I joined EXP Realty, but it's a nationally known CRM system. It's hands down the best system I've ever used. So if anyone's looking for a CRM or doesn't use one right now, I'm happy to answer any questions on KV Core. I'll drop my email. I think you all have my email, but I'll drop it in the chat here as well.
Yeah, and again, the dynamic ads perform the best. If you have a new listing, a lead form ad will perform the best as well. Just to kind of show you, here's an agent who we're running some ads for as well. And you can kind of see his cost per lead and clicks and so forth. But I use lead forms. It's the best strategy. It gets you the lead form details. You can see 8 leads so far. One of his listings, we had 22 leads generated off of it. So it's the most effective strategy. And again, in real estate, the name of the game is creating connections and creating and building rapport. In order to do that, you have to have somebody to call. You have to have an email to reach out to start that nurturing process. So that's going to be the best kind of performing ad is the ad carousel or the dynamic ad as we call it. The other types of ads that you could set up are similar to like this one right here, where it's a traffic ad. Again, remember how I was talking about if you want to drive clicks to a link, right? You would run a traffic ad. So maybe your goal is just to get people to your website. You could run an ad that looks similar to this one. Again, that's that traffic ad set. And this is a little different because it doesn't have a lead form attached to it. This is simply going to say, hey, click on learn more. And then when they do that, they will be redirected to the URL of your choice. So you can see it says send people to your website. And when they click on that ad, this is exactly where they go. Now, the benefit of doing this method in parallel with like a dynamic ad or a lead form ad is that when you have your pixel again set up on your website properly, you're capturing that event data. And even with any ad that you're running, you have the ability to select that pixel. So down here at the very bottom, you can see where I could select my website events. And this will actually boost the engagement of my ad. It'll boost the results of my ad because it's going to leverage that pixel to show and display this ad to engaged and motivated traffic, right? So if they've clicked on one of my ads before in the last 30 days, it'll show them this ad. If they haven't clicked on my ad, again, that's why I run a traffic ad to drive them to my website. So that pixel is set, right? So very important to do that. And that's why I say it's important to continuously run an ad. Even if you're not running a lead form ad, run a traffic ad, just drive clicks to your website so that when you do turn on a lead form ad, you're going to get better results and you're going to drive that cost per lead down. Any questions? That's about it. I know we're going to dive into the ad strategy, but any questions at all from anybody in attendance out there?
Feel free to drop in the chat. I'm keeping my eye on that while we wait if anyone has a question or, unmute yourself. was the additional targeting that you showed, Ernest, how you can do Zillow and Trulia. I think for agents in New York City, that's really cool because we have Street Easy, which is a Zillow company here, and
Mhm.
everybody is just so obsessed with Street Easy in our market where if we could run Facebook ads and do that same targeting and add Street Easy to Trulia and Zillow, that would make our ads 10 times more effective. And I know I've never done that. So I'm glad you showed that.
Right. Yeah. And again, a lot of well, not to go too big into the lawsuit that happened a long time ago, like 5 years ago, roughly. But there was some additional data in there that as an agent you had access to, or as a marketer you had access to, which included like income, household size, things like that. They've
Right.
restricted that for real estate purposes to keep you compliant, of course. But you can still use things like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. Have they played with a mortgage calculator? Do they have the Credit Karma app downloaded on their phone?
Yeah.
Have they are they interested, like for seller leads? You'll use things like second mortgage, construction loan, right? They have those interests inside of the data points there. So you could build an audience of sellers or potential sellers and target a 15-mile radius around your area. But you could, again, use things like, have they played with a mortgage calculator? Are they interested in home improvements, right? Like little key identifiers that are going to tell you somebody's getting ready to sell, right? Most of us homeowners don't fix up our home to for our pleasure. As you all know, we all always, fix our home up for somebody else's pleasure. It tends to be the trend. So
Yeah. Yeah. Someone was just saying, hopefully Street Easy is on there because people are addicted to Street Easy in a whole new way. um,
yeah.
I'm hoping it is, but I'll follow up with everybody on that. I'll take a look myself to see if we can target. Even doing Zillow and Trulia and the mortgage calculators is still a great strategy, but I would be curious to see if Street Easy is in there if we do New York.
Does it not? Sorry, does Street Easy not fall under the Zillow umbrella in the search?
It,
Oh,
it may it may fall under. I'm not 100% sure on if this Zillow data, but you could see the size when you hover over it.
yeah,
29 million to 34 million. I would almost be certain it's all of Zillow data points.
that's
And
a
you guys, quick question, kind of off topic, but I was just curious what your guys' opinion was on the decoupling commissions that are coming into effect. If you're allowed to touch on that.
I misunderstood what you said. I'm sorry.
The decoupling of commissions, the co-broke changes that are effective January 1st, 2024. How they're not allowing the listing agent to pay the buy side broker.
So how I understood that, and maybe I'll take a second look at it, is it's actually not a huge change. How I read that change with the Rebney communication was that it's really the way a listing agreement, the language in a listing agreement is outlined a bit different now, but the buyer's agent is still obviously protected to earn commission. I think
Yeah,
it's
I guess
that
the concern that a couple of members on my team were considering is that from the buyer's side, from just someone without a buyer's agent, they might be incentivized to just go direct to the seller because they might be able to get a better deal since the seller will only have to pay 3% to the listing agent. That was kind of the concern. I didn't know if you guys had any insight.
yeah, I would love to hear from any others if they're having concern around that. I initially looking at it didn't see a huge change, but I mean, Brian, you're bringing up a good point. So thank you for adding that in here. Does anyone have comments about that?
I can probably touch on that too, because I am dual licensed in Washington. So NWMLS has always had that 0% option to the buyer's agent for the last, I believe, like 3 years. It's been there, maybe 4 years. It, in my opinion, it doesn't have a negative impact on it. It just creates more pricing tiers for the listing agent, right? The listing agent can offer 0 as a pricing point, but inform the seller about the kind of like the repercussions of not offering any commission. But to your point, we never really had any buyers go around the buyer's agent, because normally the buyer agent has them in some sort of agreement. And in your buyer's agent representation here in Texas, you're agreeing to either what's agreed as upon on the MLS or a set price, or 3% or 2%, 2.5%, whatever it is that you're offering them.
All right, thank you for that aside there.
Yeah. Yeah, but you have all these interests, like I said, mortgage calculator, you know, first time home buyer grant, first time home buyer ads. You can use these interests here. Mortgage loans, you could see that there. Home improvement, like I was saying, for seller ads, this is a big one because you can leverage this to create that seller audience, because most sellers who are doing home improvement are maybe considering a move in the next, 2 to 3 years, roughly, if not shorter.
This is Jeff Cohen. I'm also from Manhattan. I got a question for you on like, when you post a listing or when you run an ad on a listing, if your website has, let's say, 123 Banana Street, and, you go to post it, do you like use that KV core, or do you use your website when running the ad and getting all the content? Meaning like, like if you did a post on your Facebook page and you wanted to then boost it or target based on the post, you get what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to going from your ad. Did I make sense there? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, usually sometimes what I'll do is I'll post to my Facebook page and then run an ad on that post.
Yeah, great question. And that's actually, you have the ability to, so like the way I created this one was based off of a post. So when you click on create, when you go to run like a traffic ad, for example, you'll be able to use an existing post. So to your question, when I start creating the ad, just make sure you go through these steps here, select your housing. I'm just going to do this really quick, but go to next step here. And then once I'm on the next step, when you're creating the ad, it's going to ask you if you want to create a new one or if you want to use an existing one. So for example, like I got a new listing, I already created my Facebook post, I want to turn that into an ad. You can see where I can select use existing post, and then I can go to my page and select that post from my page. Does that make sense? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, well, yeah, so that's what I normally do, but I guess I was curious, do you know which is more effective to kind of have it feed directly from your KV core, or do you feed the ad from your post? Or does it not matter?
So you could use the post and then use like a KV, like your KV core link, because again, you're going to want to have the link added in here for your call to action, which it won't let you convert with an existing post. You'll have to create a new post in order to get that link. The goal there is if you want to generate leads, they need to either be landing on a lead form, or B, going to your website and your website leveraging its capturing tools to capture those. So
got it. Okay, that's helpful.
But yeah, a couple ways to do that. The other thing too is like, if you are all KV core users or do become a KV core user, and this is not a KV core pitch at all, but KV core, again, a lot of CRMs have this. They have a marketplace where you can go buy like a property boost, right? You just got a new listing, you can plug it in, you can boost that property for the next 3 to 7 days, and you can run, leveraging a lead form, they'll run it using your Facebook ad. So, or Facebook page. So a couple of different scenarios there. But if you want to manage everything on your own, this is the way that you'll accomplish that. Any other questions or?
We see it with wars around the world. So I would imagine a lot of people are going to have a lot of defense issues. But the bigger question, what do you see as the underlying cause of a lot of these shootings?
I mean, first of all,
Catherine, any question?
I thought someone
we
No,
see
yeah.
it wars around the world. We see it in our schools. We see it with protests. Here, what does this come down to? We have got to start really getting focused.
I muted. Any
No,
questions before we end the call? Ernest, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all.
Oh, Joshua has a question.
Hi, first of all, Catherine, thanks for putting this together, and thank you, Ernest, for sharing your knowledge on this subject. My question is in terms of conversions between like different traffic types or ad types, like, whether it's a traffic ad or one you mentioned for engagement or leads, what's converting more, like generally? Because I know like ad copy and other things, make a difference, but I think general overview.
Yeah, so generally what converts best is the lead form strategy that I was showing you, where it leverages that form that you create and it's pre-filled. The reason why I say that is because you're basically paywalling your offering behind that. So they click your ad, that form's prompted. In order to get access to, like, let's say more photos or details about the property, they have to actually submit that form, kind of like a registration on your website. The main difference is that your website has that ability as well in some cases, but in other cases you have no control over like when that registration prompts. So the lead form captures better data, in my opinion, again, because it's all two-step authenticated and it converts at a better rate than any of the other ads will. So
that makes sense. And when you say two-step authenticated, is that because it's like pre-filled?
Yeah, so it is pre-filled. So when they click on the ad, it'll pre-fill that form with their full name, email address, phone number. I say two-step authenticated because if you've recently had to verify your account on Facebook, they ask for your phone number and they ask for your email address to send you a PIN code. That's the details that you're getting, are those phone numbers that they've already validated to Facebook.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. And then I guess in terms of like the platform, pre-filling this data, it makes it easier and somebody going into some other site where they gotta just fill out a form, like type all the details in.
Right. Yeah,
So,
it converts at a better rate than most standard website lead capture tools. That's why I use it. I'm a heavy user on the lead forms. It's exactly how I generated over 12,000 leads in a single year, was actually through those lead forms, because the lead capture tools on your website, like you said, you hit it on the head. It's not pre-filled. They either got to click on like log in with Google or log in with Facebook. Then they got to click on this. If they're not logged into the Facebook on their browser, they then got to remember their, like, it's just a little tedious versus just like clicking submit and the details already being there. Now, when you do this, the best practice, I will tell you, I only use lead forms for like single properties, but I also am using KV Core and Chime congruently, mostly because I have my KV Core website lead capture tools on the website itself turned off. And the reason why I have it done like that is because the ad carousel or the dynamic ad that I'm running is already capturing those details. And the last thing that I want them doing is hitting a paywall and having to register again.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Highlight, because this could be I've worked at other brokerages where if I was given a CRM, I also wasn't given a website that was attached to the CRM, if that makes sense. So KV Core helps you customize your own website. So the two are basically one whole system. I just wanted to make that clear. Joshua, go ahead.
Yeah, and I can show you like here's the KV Core website, for example. Right? Like this is a KV Core website. The idea is that when they click on that ad or are on my dynamic ad, they're going to land on the property of which they clicked on. So I don't want them to have to actually register. Right? The other website that I use is for Google ad purposes. You're probably calling me crazy or thinking I'm crazy for running two websites, but I use this for Google ad purposes because there's a time delay on my Chime website from when they actually register. So just two different websites. The user experience can be a little weird. I'm still trying to hit the nail on the head and merging them and blending them together. But yeah, I do run two websites, two different sites, just for different lead sources mostly. But again, like you were mentioning there, Josh, if you have to input your details here, like manually, you're less encouraged to do it. Most likely you're just going to click on close browser.
Yeah.
So with the lead form, turn it off, let them look at all the photos that they want, let them do, navigate through your website. Again, you're tracking all that data and all their activity and behaviors through your pixel anyway. So at any point in time, you can go and create a custom audience and start retargeting people who've landed on like 3-bed, 2 baths, 2,800 square feet. You can start hitting those people with like here's a home under 300,000 because I've seen what you're searching on my website.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, Ernest, thank you so much for your time today. I think this was really helpful, and we should connect. So maybe I'll include in my follow-up email. This has been recorded, so if you want to go back and watch, I'll send out the recording shortly, and then maybe we'll add a YouTube link or two with more specific insights with how to run an ad, because there seemed to be a lot of interest in doing that. So we'll send out some more resources as well. So thank you all so much for joining. If you have any other questions or even suggestions on what our next mastermind should be around, just don't hesitate to contact me.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.